This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you talk about at BYU-Idaho. Today we are here with
Mattos,
Robert Wahlquist.
And my name is Grace Andrus. So today, in light of President Nelson's passing, we're talking all about President Nelson. We're just kind of wanting to go over some highlights of his life, his teachings, our favorite things about him. But before we jump into that, would you mind introducing what you teach here, your part that you play here at BYU-Idaho?
Yeah, my name is Brother Wahlquist, and I'm in the religion department. One of the classes that I teach every semester is Teachings of the Living Prophets, and then I rotate between all the other religion classes. But I love the Living Prophets and have a great love for President Nelson.
Yeah, President Nelson, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because of my age when he was prophet, but he's just been exactly what I've needed for so many years. Just very loving, promoting joy. I don't know. So it's awesome that you get to teach the teachings of a living prophet when President Nelson is our living prophet. So
Yeah, I had a student just say today that he felt like President Nelson really related to this generation and made them feel like, they really had a mission and they had a purpose in life. And I agree. He really did reach the young adult generation of the church.
yeah, I think so too. So many of his messages were targeted towards us, and he used very direct language, at least from the talks that I really like. He's just very much like, this is what gathering Israel means, and this is the part you get to play if you want, that kind of thing. But
And Jesus is coming back to the earth, and this is what you need to do to get ready.
That is something that he talked about over and over again, is just, Jesus is coming, prepare, take your vitamins, be ready.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, we didn't do a formal study, but we've looked at, and most of us have found that during the time that he was the president of the church, that he's talked more about the second coming of Jesus Christ during conference than any prophet except for the prophet Joseph Smith.
That's insane.
And in just a few short years, it became a real focus.
Wow. Which is insane. I think dealing with that topic head on is the only way.
Yeah.
To prepare, but also instill confidence instead of fear. Because I feel like before, at least for me when I was 10, I was very afraid for Jesus to come again because of what that means and earthquakes and stuff. I was very scared as a 10-year-old. But now being a young adult, I'm excited and I want to be prepared.
Jesus is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something to get excited about.
It is exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. I agree.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite topics or talks that you like from President?
I mean, obviously, Think Celestial is the big one, right?
Yeah.
I feel like everyone really has remembered that one. If they, when was that? It was a couple of years ago. I think it was
October
2.
2023.
Yeah,
Hey,
there
yo.
you go. He knows it. Yeah, but it's super simple, right? Think celestial, think of the big picture. I love that one because obviously, and I know because I talk with my roommates and friends and stuff too, is that your day-to-day life can be really tough and you can have so many different things distracting you or stressing you out. But if you just take a minute to think about the bigger picture and think about what the purpose is of us being here and all of these, and I just think it was such a beautifully put one too. I don't know, it's
And
a
a
good
great catchphrase.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very memorable.
Yeah, I've wondered if the catchphrase is so iconic and wonderful. I've wondered though if he would have thought maybe I should have named it Choose Celestial because there was so much about agency in that.
Yeah.
But taking the big picture was the point. Don't get weighed down by all the daily stuff of living and being a college student, all the things, money, lack thereof, dates, lack thereof, and just keep the big picture in mind because that's joyous. It really is.
Yeah, well, joyous, that talk where he talks about joy, and he says joy 30 plus times, I think, in the whole talk. I don't know how many, but
it's not found in the circumstances of our lives,
Yes.
but in the focus of our lives.
I love that one. And I think it goes along with Think Celestial. I feel like he's just giving us these tools that build on each other to just, I don't even know, become more Christ-like. With thinking celestial, having joy, focusing the center of our lives on Jesus Christ. And then when he talked about our labels, that one is an insane talk, I think, especially for the time that we're in right now with everyone having different labels they choose to identify themselves with and of how angry those labels are at each other, if that makes sense. And I love that he just reminds us when we think celestial, we focus our life on Jesus Christ, we can have the label, I'm a child of God. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, and then I am,
Child of the covenant.
child of the covenant. I was like, oh crap. I'm on the spot. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, no problem.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. He's just been so good, I think, for the young adult generation. I mean, for everybody, obviously. But
I think one of the legacies that 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, as we look back and we're reading books about long dead prophets, and we're reading the President Nelson book, I think President Nelson, the title, he's got to be the Come to Jesus prophet, name of the church, focus on the Savior, thinking celestial, that everything he's done has been to get us to say his name more often and remember our connection with him. And it's phenomenal. I don't think the church will ever go back where it's just forward and Christ now at the center, where he's always should have been, but such focus on that now.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think, what did you say? You said, come to Jesus because Jesus is coming.
Yeah. I like that connection. I'm going to steal that in my classes.
You should. But it's,
focus on Jesus. Jesus is coming. Yeah, that's good.
Because it's very true. And I think you're right. Like, the church has now been forever changed by President Nelson, and it will just continue in his legacy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he announced 200 temples.
Yeah.
And it says on the outside of our temples, holiness to the Lord, the house of the Lord. And now he's talking about the second coming. If we are worthy to go into the house of the Lord here, then we'll be worthy to dwell with him when he comes.
Yeah.
So all of these temples, I think, is President Nelson's sly way of saying, I'm going to get the world ready.
Yeah.
And temples are a way to get ready. In fact, his last talk was spend more time in the temples, the best thing you can do to prepare for the Lord's return.
Which is awesome. Which reminds me, I need to go to the temple this week.
Yes, you do.
I do.
And yes, you do. Wait,
Yes.
Here's just a little thought. When President Nelson invited us to make an appointment at the temple and then keep it with exactness and regularly go to the temple, now we're scheduling temple appointments on our phones.
Yeah.
And I've wondered if we don't know when we're going next, we may not be going often enough. Now maybe next is 2 weeks from now or a month from now, but we ought to have a goal. So not just, I could go anytime, but I'm going to keep that appointment with the Lord. So, I invite you to. I invite you to get on your phone after this interview and set an appointment. You get to choose when. There's there's no quota, but we ought to know when we're going next, so we have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's the house of the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. You're right. I think that's totally fair to just at least know when I'm going next, because right now I have no appointment. So I have no idea when I'm going next.
Yeah. Again, there's no quota, but to have that goal, I think, is a valuable thing to work towards. Okay, I'm going in 2 weeks, and then you can have that in your mind and can prepare for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome.
No, because we were talking about it on Sunday too, about how many temples he had announced, because we didn't exactly have an example. Yeah, which is crazy, because every time you were watching conference, I feel like that list was getting longer.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing, because I was born in South America, so I love to hear every time like we're getting new temples over there, because
President Nelson may have loved South America.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, what percentage are down there, but a lot of them.
Yeah, because I'm from Brazil, and I would hear stories about, like, obviously, like, my parents and their friends, and how they would have to travel, like, so much time to get to a temple because they had so few. But it's so amazing to see how many more are getting built. And, like, over here in Rexburg too, like, we're getting another one,
which is crazy.
Yeah, and we need it, because
we
with the way the students are coming here, and, like, the population growing and everything, like, we're needing it. And so it's just, like, really amazing to see, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, there was a stat that was given at a devotional talking about what percentage of us volunteer to work in the temple, but I don't remember. President Meredith gave it. Do you remember this?
I don't remember either, but
it was a lot of us. Let's just say a lot of us are working in the temple.
Yeah, I'm a shift coordinator in the baptistry on Wednesday
really?
afternoons, and a lot of college students work on our shift, and it is spectacular.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And if you don't know how to do that, just talk to your bishop. Just talk to your bishop. He clicks a button. Temple presidency calls you. Get in for an interview. It's pretty simple.
Is there a wait list? Is it like pretty packed or no?
We'll take as many as we can get. I'm sure the temple will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And,
awesome.
and we need to get everybody trained because when we split up to go to the new one, we're going to need twice as many workers.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so,
that's
yeah.
fair. When is the new temple finished? Do you know?
A couple of years still, I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
I don't know. They haven't announced a time yet,
Yeah, I think
but
the
it's getting
groundbreaking
taller.
was-
Have you noticed?
Yes.
The metal work is going up
Yeah.
and up and up. And
Well, I heard that they're becoming more efficient with building temples because it's so quick. And so they build whole rooms for a temple and then they basically ship the whole room to the location that they're building it.
yeah, that's not happening at this temple,
Oh,
but
but
some of the
it's
smaller
the
temples,
smaller ones,
yes.
yeah.
I saw that same special where they've got some massive construction place in, I think, Alabama, and put them on train cars and ship
Yes,
them. And,
that's
and then they
awesome.
assemble a temple in like 17 days or something
Yes,
like
I'm
that.
like, that's
yeah, I saw that special. It was
crazy.
pretty spectacular.
That is like
Wow.
just shows that Jesus is coming and we need more and more people to be in the temple so
Yeah.
that when Jesus
Yeah.
comes, we can be with Jesus. You know? I don't know. It's awesome. It's all really awesome.
So I have a question for you two.
Oh.
So we've talked about some of President Nelson's great talks, and they are classic. I mean, they're going to go down. Think Celestial is going to go down in history.
definitely.
Joy in Our Lives is going to go down in history. Making time. There's just so many talks that are just incredible. But is there a story from President Nelson's life that has resonated with you, and just say, oh man, I really like that experience?
I mean, I have obviously he's like a wonderful, not a wonderful, but a incredible heart surgeon. And the fact that he worked on President Kimball, right, and saved President Kimball's life, that's insane to me because not only are they friends, but they serve the Lord in the same way, and they both have this wonderful direction. I don't know. I think that's an insane story. And to go from that, there's a story where I think there's multiple stories where he's performing heart surgery and he's fasted and prayed for the surgery, which is amazing in itself. And then while he's doing the surgery, he sees like lines of where he needs to cut or where he needs to sew. And his hands are guided to basically do this life-saving surgery on someone that he didn't even know he could do, which is crazy to me because he's a genius. So it's crazy that even after all this schooling and this practice, the Lord is like, okay, thank you for being prepared, and now it will teach you from here.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great story. The one that I think is in print is the one from a stake patriarch that kept coming back to him multiple times and saying, hey, look, the Lord brought me to you,
Yeah.
so the Lord will show you how. And then the stitching, actually, he saw it kind of, I guess, in his mind. And now that procedure is a common procedure in open heart surgery.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome. I'm like, even President Nelson, like the impact he left on the church, but the impact he left on the medical world and the surgical world is crazy to me. And he's 101 years old. Like that's
Yeah.
also just insane.
I was going to say the same thing. It's just like so many different stories where you just see his willingness to serve others and his willingness to just like be there. I don't know. It's just really amazing. And I think that obviously it's such a Christ-like attribute of his. And that's something that everyone should try to become more like.
Yeah.
Because I know that I struggle with it sometimes as well. But it's just, yeah, it's just one after the other. It's really genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just an incredible man. And I think it's interesting with the recent events that have happened towards the church with the fire and the shooting in Michigan and President Nelson dying. It's interesting to see the different news sources, and a lot of them are using the full name of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is awesome because that's an impact that we've left and that he's left. And so it's cool to see that slowly but surely we are re-identifying ourselves as, a Christ-centered church and a Christ-centered people, which is
So
cool.
I just watched a sports podcast this morning.
Oh, awesome.
A couple of guys that represent the Big 12 where BYU plays their football
Yeah.
games. And they said, neither one of us are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but I guess they got some anti-church taunting at the
Oh.
football game this past weekend. And these non-Latter-day Saint podcasters were saying, that's just wrong. They're criticizing a church. We don't even belong to their church. And they were calling them Mormons. They're not even Mormons anymore. They belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I just went, yay, President
Yeah,
Nelson is
seriously.
working, because here's these guys that are not even members, and they're calling it the full name of the church.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
That's
No.
awesome.
And have them defending the church. That was also
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's like impacting everyone, I think,
Yeah.
as I think we're becoming, I don't know. I think President Nelson was just exactly what we needed for the time that he was here. I really think. And on so many aspects. Like,
Well,
Is-
I love your statement, except for one part.
Oh, go ahead.
You can take out the words "I think."
Oh, okay.
The Lord is in charge of His church,
Yeah.
and there is no question that President Nelson stealing from Esther was for such a time as this. And now the next prophet will be for such a time as this. The Lord is in charge of His church. And so take out the "I think" and just bear a powerful witness. President Nelson was for this time. And we see it in all the adjustments and changes. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were talking, I think I was in my class actually, we were talking about this too, about how the Lord will not steer us astray. Like we're not going just nowhere. And they were talking about how, like, one of the examples obviously being COVID, and how President Nelson had introduced Come Follow Me, and how no one really was understanding why we were having to like do these things, and it's just like more work and
but
whatever.
But we were rejoicing in 2-hour blocks. We may not have understood it, but yes, go President Nelson.
Exactly. And then like I know that some people were talking about how they just felt, and they knew that there was going to be a time where we wouldn't be able to go to church. And this was like maybe a year or two before COVID even had happened, you know? So like it's just one of those things where you just listen to the Lord's prophets, and you just have to have the faith that whatever is going on is probably going to get worse before it gets better. But you just have to go with the faith. Yeah.
Yeah, but when COVID hit and the shutdown hit in April of 2020, and we'd been doing Come Follow Me since January of 2019, so 15 months.
Wow.
The church didn't even hit a bump.
Yeah, talk about being
home
prepared.
Church. Yeah, just
exactly.
Bishops get the sacrament into their homes, and they can meet as families, and it just was. Sister Sherry Dew coined a phrase: prophets see around corners. And there's no question that the Lord is showing prophets around corners, and that's a wonderful example of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like President Nelson always had a twinkle in his eye. Every single talk that he gave, I'm like, he knows something that we don't know.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He knows the Savior.
Yes, he gave his, I mean, it's common for apostles to say this, but maybe not common, but he gives his apostolic witness that Jesus Christ is our Savior, and that word is so specific and so impactful. And
it's a great word. And with conference coming up this week, we ought to listen for it. Whenever you hear an apostle start a part of his talk or a testimony with that phrase, as a special witness or as an apostle, they're actually labeling. Do you know who I am giving this testimony?
Yeah. I'm
a special witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ, and a special witness of His name to all the world. And I invite you to listen to what I'm about to say. So, yeah, I'm glad that stands out to you. It should stand out to all of us.
Yeah, and it's interesting with conference coming up. I wonder if President Nelson already recorded his talk, because he probably knew he was going to pass away.
Good question.
Come on, do you know?
No, but if he did, I'd love to have him play it as part of his talk. It has occurred once in the past that an apostle died right before conference, and they included his talk as a part of the official conference report. So it's not without precedent, and I hope he recorded it, and I hope we get to see one more.
I know, that would just...
Maybe it'll probably be celestial. Look at me.
He's like, hey guys, so this is my farewell speech. Yeah. Some of you might know.
Well, some of us have felt like the last couple have been a farewell speech.
Oh my gosh, yes. He closed out one of them, and he was like, it felt very closing chapter, his end. And I felt it. I was like, oh, he's gonna die before the next conference. But then 4 years later, he was still skiing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know how long he skied, but he's still giving talks.
Yes, still giving talks at least. That's awesome. Well, let me ask you the same question. Like, what story from his life most impacted you?
Well, I love everything about President Nelson. I love the story when he was a young man and his parents were drinking alcohol, and he went and broke their alcohol and dumped it down the drain and said, look, and he's a convert to the church, joined the church at age 16, and then just lived a great life. The little short video they made of the plane crash that he just was calm because he knew that there was a plan and death isn't the end.
Yeah.
And now, as of last Saturday, he's passed away. What a sweet reunion with his wife and two daughters that had died previous to this. I've heard people say, oh, what a sad day. Well, it may be for us because we'll miss him.
Yeah.
But what a joyous day for him. He's in the spirit world. He's with family.
Yeah.
Reuniting with previous prophets, President Monson, President Hinckley, Joseph Smith,
Yeah.
and doing the work of the Lord. He will keep preparing people for the second coming on the other side of the veil.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm sure his work has just begun, honestly.
And maybe increased.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I got a break. No, you don't.
Yeah, the Lord's like, and
Get back
here's some
to
more.
it.
No, for real. I think that it'll be, I always wonder when apostles pass away that it's probably way more rejoiceful for them because they're so confident, like without a shadow of a doubt, where they're going next and what's next for them. And even for their family. Like, I feel like it's different. But for us, you're right. Like, we're just going to miss him. We don't see him anymore, right? But he sees us still, I think, right? So,
Oh, yeah. Prophets have said that they can see the others from the other side of the veil better than we can see through the veil that way. And they pray for us and they love us. And that's a glorious thing.
yeah.
So President Nelson, speaking at his daughter Wendy's funeral, said, parenting beyond the veil.
Yeah.
Your mom has died, but she'll continue to love you and pray for you and be some kind of a part of your life. And so, yeah, death is not the end. It's just a doorway we step through that we can't see through yet.
Yeah. I love that. Well, before we close, is there any other thoughts that you guys want to share about President Nelson? Or, I mean, we kind of talked about everything under the sun a little bit.
I'll just bear my testimony.
Yeah,
President
please.
Nelson was a prophet of God, and the next prophet of God is also a prophet of God. I once had a student say, I'm not going to say any names, but say, I'm leaving the church as so-and-so becomes the next president of the church. And I remember thinking, what's that about?
Yeah.
Our trust is in the Lord. The Lord knows what he's doing. And so the Lord knew what he was doing when he called President Nelson, and he knows what he's doing as we get a new president of the church. Right now, the church is being run by the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. This little period is called the Apostolic Interregnum, and President Oakes is the set-apart president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. President Holland is no longer acting president because President Oakes is the president. And the church is going to be led by the Lord like it's always been.
Yeah.
And so that's a good, confident thing to know.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'll add my testimony too, just while we're doing this. Like, I know that President Nelson was for our time, and I know that the Lord is behind it. And I do trust in the Lord, and I'm so glad that I was a young college student during President Nelson's.
Oh, what a joyous thing.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he was my prophet for the time being. And I don't know, I love the church. I love Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Jesus to come.
Two things I can hear President Nelson saying. I
Yeah.
love church. I love Jesus.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, you guys have said it all. It's going to be a little sad of a period, but like I said, the next one's coming, and we just have to keep going.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Awesome. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts were
Bia Mattos.
Robert Wahlquist.
and my name is Grace Andrus. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Follow us on social media at BYUI_The Spot, and be sure to subscribe to The Spot podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Have a topic in mind? Leave us a comment and let us know what we should talk about next.